then after all of that, like God is like, okay, are you gonna trust me and understanding that what I'm giving you is great? I'm like, okay, yes, I can trust you. Okay, cool. And that's when the assignment for the new album started. So the new album is entitled Kingdom. Yeah. So what I'll explain about is this. So one of the things that God, I've so from the very beginning, what has often happened is that music has been, okay, let me just say it. So I just need to ask God to give me guidance for what I was going to say. So ministry has always been perceived as in something that happens within the building. I remember one of the things that really hit me hard. I remember seeing an usher who had served in a church for like 13 years come and ask me one day and say, how do you do it? Like, what do you mean, how do I do it? It's like, how do you talk to people about Jesus? And I saw this man, and I'm like, this man has served in church for years, and he's never talked to someone about Jesus. And then I realized that oftentimes what is told to people that they're serving in ministry is that they're serving in a church.
Yep.
But then the question that always comes is, but God, what is my purpose? I'm a banker. God, I work in a restaurant. How do I do ministry? I'm working in a restaurant. God, I'm a construction worker. God, I'm working at a railway line. And that idea is I have no purpose of reason or function for God in life, but to God. What is my purpose for being here? What am I doing? So I'm a politician. As long as I'm not a pastor, hey, I'm okay.
Yes.
But see, that's the difference. That's where the kingdom comes in. Because Jesus was preaching a lot about the kingdom, and he was not saying, listen, it's not saying outside, in the kingdom, everything is there.
Yep.
Is that everything has a functionality to reflect the will of the king. And the will of the king is that we might walk in love. John 13, verse 35. If you walk in love, only then will they know that you're my disciples. So it is now bringing people to the place where they understand that you are as much of part of God's family, even when you don't feel you're part of God's family. Is that your function behind the camera, the function in creating content, is that you are kingdom-minded and you're fulfilling the will and the purpose of God, in that you have a purpose and you're part of something, and this has come from just years of where you evangelize and realize someone saying, but what can God do with me? When you're a singer, where people come and tell you like, oh, you sing? Yeah, but it's not. Is it worship? Is it worship? And then when you make a song like Extra Time, you realize, oh my gosh, like this song is restoring a marriage.
Yep.
It's restoring, people's love, and that family and that marriage is the purpose for the family. And that family will resonate down to their kids. And those kids will grow up with a purpose. And left unchecked is where you're finding a lot of people burning out. In ministry, you're finding a lot of people burning out because it's not told that that presence is in their lives. And I remember last year when COVID started, God really told me, he's like, listen, people are gonna learn to know me in the wilderness.
Yep.
They're gonna learn to know, like John the Baptist. They're no longer gonna have those structures that they can run to and rely on.
The beauty of COVID.
Yeah.
In COVID, there's been a lot of true understanding of what it means to do church, to fellowship, life.
Yeah.
Despite the hardship that it has come with.
Yeah.
I feel some of the hardship is coming is breaking the existing structures.
And you're realizing you're having a close eye on how your kids are being raised. What do they believe in? What the principles, the time you're spending? You're realizing a lot of things that are beginning to change. and you're finding a lot of churches, you're finding what's genuine. Who genuine was having a heart of people who were doing it for tithe. And it, excuse me, sorry about that. It's, for me, that's what this project is about at the end of the day. It's about the kingdom of God, building the kingdom, seeing that even with the perfection of what we're trying to do with the art of it, that it should be perceived as in that art that is almost like you're a painter and you're told, paint the king's room. You remember the Michelangelos, the lengths they went to just believing that they were doing something for God. You know what I'm saying? Or for the glory of the church. Where is that art? You know, where is that creativity? Where is that level of minds that they are doing something in the greatness of God's purpose and God's kingdom? And we've seen so many people get ousted because we don't have purpose for them. I brought this up earlier on where I said, you know, you're a rapper. You're a really good rapper. But then the question is, where is your purpose? Where? Name a place. Name a church that's gonna say, oh, come rap, come, and we'll pay you for what you're doing. Because if it's not functional to the church, then it's just not functional. Oh, I'm a really good DJ, I can mix, yeah, but it's not worship. It's not functional to us as a church, then it's not functional to the king. And that's not true. That's not true. So you have all these people who have been gifted, who God gives us, and we put them on the sidelines because we don't have a function for them in the church, but they can be functional in the kingdom. And in this music scene, you find so many of the people who, I remember we were doing this when we were doing Day of Thunder, and there's one that I went to when I was invited as a judge because they had been doing a singing competition. And it raised a huge backlash because, Abel, why are you there? You know what I'm saying? You're not performing. I was like, no, Zambia Brewers invited me to judge a competition of theirs. And funny enough, the guy who won was a Christian. And they said, no, we shouldn't, as Christians should have been there. And I'm like, that's conflicting because at some point, when you allow an environment like that, and you say we don't want any form of Christian influence at any point.
That's crazy.
I can talk to the managing director of that and I say, hey, and one of the reasons I brought it up to him, I said, you didn't have any Christian artists. I've performed on that stage before, but this year you guys didn't have any Christian artists. And I can say that because I'm at the place where I can have influence. But then when Christians are saying, well, you're not influential, you shouldn't be even there, whatnot, right? It gives confidence to the secular society to say, yeah, we're getting a backlash to have faith.
I know somebody who was a
platform.
Christian, and they were like marketing head at one of the alcoholic beverages in Kenya. But because of them, they were like, nah, there's no way we're putting ads to reach a certain demographic of people. And before, there's no way we're lobbying the government to change the watershed advertising time to a smaller time so we can reach a younger demographic. No, we're going to stick to the rules, and in that, God still help us make our profits. But I really like the fact she was like, I'm conscious enough to know I don't want my liquor brands being advertised to 14-year-olds. You get?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's this whole go out into the world. You know, we're not called to. I say there's too many light bulbs in the church, and yet the clubs are dark. Yeah. So I fully get. I get what it is that you're trying to do with this album, and I think it's going to be powerful. I think Christians literally need to understand the kingdom, because the cross alone, and I don't mean to degrade the cross in any way. The cross is the door. There's no other door but the cross. But the cross is the door. And when you look at it from that understanding, you don't build a home in the door. We're not at the door right now. We're shooting this inside.
Yeah.
So the cross is the only way to enter into the kingdom and to access the gifts of the kingdom.
Yeah.
But it's about the kingdom.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Okay, I've got a few questions for you.
Yeah.
You've jumped over this album. Now the thing about you talked about having over 60 songs. I honestly don't say this lightly. I think vocally you're my top 3 African artists.
Wow.
Like I think when I can name.
Thank you.
I'm serious. When I name my artists, I name Kanji, You Are There, and Pompey's there as well. There are a few others who are 3.5, 3.7, but that one I can name it like I listen to the songs. I listen to the songs the same way I listen to Craig David and R. Kelly. Yeah. And this music is good, the production is good. And I want to introduce you to a different market through this interview. You see, I may talk to you and I know your works, but there may be people wondering, so I've heard the few samples that you've played in, what are the songs that get that? So this is quick, we can't do every song. So just be like, yo, tell me a little bit about a segment about this song, this, that, the other, and then we go, cool, ready? Then we'll come back and continue the conversation. Cool. Let's start with Lotta House. Go.